We are back again with a cruise ship denied entry into a cruise port. Seems to be a common occurrence recently, seems to be a common story recently, but here we are again. This time we have the Disney Fantasy on a 7-day voyage out of Port Canaveral. Well, she has been denied entry into the port of St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Now, Disney has stated that there is less than 1% positive COVID cases on board, total amongst both crew and passengers combined, so less than 1%. However, the island of St. Thomas still did not clear the vessel to allow passengers to disembark. So, in a statement from Disney, the Disney Fantasy did not call on St. Thomas today due to both an increase in COVID-19 cases on the island and a small number of fully vaccinated crew members and guests, less than 1% of those on board, in isolation for COVID-19. Those affected by these breakthrough cases are either asymptomatic or have mild symptoms, and we are following CDC protocols for managing cases on board. We continue to operate with multiple layers of health and safety protocols in place, such as requiring vaccinations, PCR tests at the port prior to embarkation for all guests, testing of our crew multiple times per week, enhanced cleaning protocols, and a requirement that masks be worn in all indoor spaces. Now, according to the Virgin Islands Daily News, the island is not going to be permitting entry to any guests on board a cruise ship with positive cases amounting to more than 1% of the total guests and crew on board the ship. And this, according to local authorities, is part of the port agreement that was set up with the cruise industry. So what we have right now is we have Disney Fantasy saying, hey, we have less than 1%. We have the island of St. Thomas saying we're not allowing any vessel to come in and disembark if you have more than 1% of crew and passengers with positive COVID-19 cases. So it seems like there might possibly be a little bit of confusion here. Obviously, someone has to be right and someone has to be wrong in this case. Either Disney is below the 1% and they should have been allowed to disembark, or they are above the 1% and St. Thomas is right to refuse to allow them to disembark. But who is correct? Where is the confusion coming in? And is this confusion affecting other cruise ports as well? Is this 1% number that they have set up in the port agreements? Well, you know, that can vary from cruise ship to cruise ship. If you have an Oasis class ship that has 6,000 people on board, well, you can have up to 60 positive COVID cases versus, let's say, the Disney Fantasy, which could have up to 3,000 people on board. You could only have 30 cases. So are these cruise ships arriving at the port and saying, hey, we have X number of cases, and then the port is now responsible to figure out what percentage that is? Or does the cruise ship report what percentage that is, and are they just not agreeing on that percentage number? There does seem to be a little bit of disconnect here. Now, my understanding is the cruise associations, along with the cruise lines and the ports that they visit, they're trying to work out a more simplified plan. Something to make it easier for both the cruise ships and the ports to know if the threshold has been met, and even allow the cruise ships to know before they get to the port whether or not they're going to be able to dock or not based on these numbers. So Disney Fantasy pulled all the way into St. Thomas, docked in St. Thomas, believing they were below the 1%, but then were not allowed to disembark. So I can see where there is a little bit of confusion and obviously some stuff they need to work out. They kind of need to smooth this out a little bit, especially right now when we're seeing more and more ships being denied entry into cruise ports. And could it be something as simple as confusion over that 1% number? Now, the health commissioner in St. Thomas also put out a statement. We are assessing the percent positivity on each ship and adhering to the contractual agreement for passengers and crew members. If it falls within our agreed upon criteria level, which they all have, we do not approve disembarking of passengers unless there is a life-threatening emergency. So that's where we're at. Cruise ship that says one number, the cruise port that has another number, and passengers caught in the middle not being allowed to disembark. So the Disney Fantasy pulled back out of port, and instead those passengers will be receiving an additional sea day before they head back to Port Canaveral. So what do y'all think? Do you think there's any confusion in that 1%? Do you think there's a confusion between the cruise lines and the cruise ports as to exactly what that threshold is, where that you're not gonna dock criteria is? Or is it just a case of the cruise lines wrong or the cruise ports wrong? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Alright, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, do me a favor, smash that like button. Have yourself a great day, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.